So let's move on to calculate our market variances. Market variances tell us two different things. Firstly, they tell us, was there as much of a market for this particular product in our area that we thought there was going to be? We're selling cartons of fruit drinks. Was the demand for fruit drinks in our region, the Midwest region of the United States, as big as we thought it was going to be? Was it smaller than we thought it was going to be? How did the overall size of the market differ from what we expected when we made our budget? And then secondly, it'll tell us, are we, MC Incorporated, capturing the portion of that market that we thought we were going to? Are all, say 10% of all fruit drink cartons being sold coming from us? Well, it says in here that we budgeted to sell 20% of them. Did we get there? Did we sell 20% of all fruit drink cartons that were sold in the Midwest region? If we sold less, that's not good. If we sold more, that's a pretty good thing. Let's figure out what our market shares were. So starting with actual. The actual total sales volume in this Midwestern region was 1.5 million cartons. We budgeted, at the time we budgeted, that 1.25 million cartons were going to be sold in our area. What was our portion of this? Well, our actual sales we found on our actual contribution margin table were $240,000 during the period. But we budgeted to sell 250,000 cartons. Well, if we take the number of units that we sold and divide it by the market size, we figure out what portion of the market we had a share of. So we sold 240,000 cartons. In the Midwest region, 1.5 million were purchased, which means we sold 16% of all juice cartons or fruit drink cartons in the area, which is not good because when we budgeted, we expected to sell 250,000 cartons in a market of 1.25 million, which means we expected to have 20% of all sales. So our market share was not nearly what we thought it was going to be. For the purpose of our calculations, we need to figure out what our average budgeted unit contribution margin was. And this is like the weighted average of all contribution margins based on how many units of our different lines that we sold. And we've already figured this out in our budgets before. Our total budgeted contribution margin was $1,434,000. We budgeted that we were going to sell 250,000 fruit drink cartons, which means if we did get that contribution margin off that level of sales, the average contribution margin for any one unit that we sold, regardless if it was the Custor or the Limba, would be about $5.73.6. So for the purpose of our calculations, let's know that our average budgeted unit contribution margin was that amount. And now we can use that to figure out what our market share variance and what our market size variance was. So for market share variance, we're going to start by taking the actual market size. Well, in the Midwest region, people actually bought 1.5 million of these cartons. Our actual market share, we already determined, was 16%. Against our budgeted market share, we assumed was going to be 20%. So we captured 4% less of the market than we thought we were going to. Well, if we multiply that by our average budgeted unit contribution margin of a little over $5.73, we get our market share variance. And our market share variance is $344,160 unfavorable. Why is it unfavorable? Because our actual share was way smaller than our budgeted share. Moving on to our market size variance. What is our actual market size? It was 1.5 million. We budgeted for it to be 1.25 million. So in this Midwest region, people bought $250,000 or $250,000 more cartons of fruit beverage than we expected they would. The market was much larger than we anticipated. And we anticipated that we were going to capture 20% of that market. And if we multiply it by our average budgeted unit contribution margin, we get our market size variance, which is 286,800. And this is favorable. Why is it favorable? Because the actual market size was bigger than our budgeted market size. So moving on, we have what this all means. And earlier we figured out what our sales quantity variance was. We had the calculations. Our sales quantity variance came out to be 57,360. Well, that's not good. We sold less units than we thought we were going to. But did we sell less units because people were unwilling to buy this, they didn't want this product? Or did we sell less units because we weren't capturing the share of the market that we thought we were? And as we go through and we see here, it is most definitely the latter. We're not getting the portion of the market that we wanted. See, the market size variance is were people willing to buy it. So $286,800 of this difference can be explained by the fact that the market was actually bigger than we thought it was going to be. We thought there was only enough demand to sell 1.25 million units overall, but overall all companies in our market sold 1.5 million units, which means the market size was actually bigger than we thought it was. But we didn't come close to capturing the market share. We were only 16% of all juice cartons sold. We expected to be 20. So that's where this huge unfavorable variance comes from. And if you add together the market share variance and the market size variance, you get the sales quantity variance, which we already found earlier. So what we did is break down the reason that our quantity differed between, did we do something wrong not selling these products, or was there just not demand overall for the type of products that we're selling? Now that we know this, we can go through and we can look and say, we're not capturing enough of our market share. How do we fix this? We're going to have to advertise. And we already went through and found our calculations for the Coster and the Limbo, which ones were more profitable. We need to advertise, not just overall to increase our products, but specifically the brands that are increasing our contribution margin by the most.